Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm making these fun and easy Hello Friend cards using the Spellbinders Clear Stamp of the Month for December 2021. Hi guys, I am back today with another Spellbinders Kit of the Month. This one is the Clear Stamp of the Month and it's called Color Outside the Lines, and this is adorable. Basically it's going to make a lot of the whole idea behind it, rather, is to color outside the lines, right? So that means it's going to make it so easy to stamp out some images. You really don't have to do a lot of coloring, and this is going to be really fun. So I've got the beginnings of an idea, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with a little bit of stamping. I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp platform and some of these pretty stamps. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and stamp those out. I think what I'm going to use is my VersaFine Clair. So I'll go ahead and use that. And this is when, I love this ink because it gives you such bold results and really doesn't take any effort whatsoever. Just gentle tap and they are perfect. And I like that enough that I think I may actually want to mass produce them. I'm going to go ahead and take my stamps, these other stamps, and these are the ones that basically go over each of those images. So I'm going to line them up a little bit better because I do kind of want to cover up the lines a little bit there. And now I'm going to turn this over. So when I pick it up, it's going to pick up on that side and we'll be fine. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one too at the same time. Okay, so now this one is all ready to go, and I think I'm going to go ahead, might as well, and put down another piece. So while I'm stamping this one in Tutti Frutti, I'll also be stamping this panel in VersaFine Clair. If I ink the stamps up right. That looks kind of cool. I do think that I've got that one kind of in the wrong position, but that's okay. And it also kind of looks like they're supposed to be, like this one's supposed to be I don't care. It looks kind of cool. Okay, so the other stamps that are in this set, we've got some letters. So you can say some different things. We've got letters where you can say love you, you can say hello, and I think what I'm going to do is hello friend. Now I've got the friend here, and then this one is kind of just like an artsy, kind of circle-ish piece that these sentiments tend to kind of sit in. So that I'm going to use for something too. I'm going to start off with that extra sentiment. I'm going to use this guy. I'm just using a scrap piece of cardstock there. And I'm going to do this in the same colors that I did. Oh, it's not sticking. I'm going to do this in the same colors that I did the flowers. So taking some of, this one is Party Dress. Taking some Party Dress. And that is going to be Tutti Frutti. Okay. And I did decide I wanted to use the friend. So what I'm going to do with this, put it right there in the middle. I'm also going to be using some embossing powder. Now the reason I'm doing this is that on these bright colors, black's going to show up perfectly fine, but on the darker one, it may not. So I'm going to stamp in black, and actually stamp in black on these two, stamp in white on this one, and then white heat emboss. And we will do the same thing. Got my VersaFine Clear. Add a little clear embossing powder. And tap that off. I should have used my embossing tool, my embossing buddy with this one too, and forgot. But luckily this is Wow Clear Embossing Powder, which doesn't tend to stick. It's got an anti-static properties. Okay, so that one's done. And then grabbing out my white. Now my white is just some that I have from Recollections. It's in snow. It's not detail, but this this sentiment looks like it is pretty solid, so it should be okay for this embossing powder to work on it. So let me wipe down that stamp real quick. And you could just use VersaFine for this, but I like using white pigment ink for this, mostly because that way if the powder doesn't stick completely right, we've got a color that is matching it in the background that'll be able to kind of cover it up a little bit. And of course, I forgot, I need to use my embossing buddy. Okay. I may have to stamp it twice. Depends on how well this covers. Okay. Ooh, I love how that white is just popping there. That looks good. I'm going to be cutting these guys out, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the first one out. The hard part is going to be trying to position those two L's. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the H-E-L to begin with, then do the L-O. That way I can see exactly where they're going to go. And now I'm going to stamp these out. I'm going to stamp them out as well in the black VersaFine. It's going to match the friend. And this time I am going to add a little anti-static just to be on the safe side. And looks like I missed part of the E. Let's do that again. Okay, so while I have that here, I'm going to go ahead and bring the next one in. And cover this one and the embossing powder. Okay, that one is ready for me there. And I think I had it up here. Yes, okay, so that looks good. Go ahead and stamp this one down too. Okay, so we've got the first one. And the second one. And then the third one. Okay, so next we do the same thing again, but this time we're going to be adding the last L and the O. And because there is some ink on those, I am going to use a piece of acetate to make sure that I don't accidentally get any additional ink on my cardstock where I don't want it. Okay, and that page is a little bit warped just from the... So go ahead and pick up the stamps with my stamp platform and remove the acetate. Go one more time with the anti-static powder. And then let's go in with some of that VersaFine Clear. I'd say that looks pretty good. Okay, so got that. I think what I want to do is I want to trim those down. So I'm lining it up in my paper trimmer just to that raised edge on my paper trimmer. So it's about I think it's about a 1/4 inch from the edge. I'm going to do both sides. So I'm basically creating a background panel for everything to get housed on. Okay. And then just to see about the measurements on here, I think what I want to do, I want to have it smaller than regular A2. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down so that there will be a white border all the way around when it gets mounted onto my card base. So that means it's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm going to do it just on one of the cards to start off with. So I need to cut that down on this one too. And I think what I'm going to do, I want it to be still pretty much centered, so I'm going to cut a little bit off of both ends. This is still going to wind up being 5 1/4. So it's going to span across the card panel that I have here. And then I'm going to take my party dress with a paper towel underneath it so I can try not to make a tremendous mess on my desk and get lots of ink transfer. I just go across on the two sides, and it doesn't matter if I get it in the center because that's going to be covered. And now I'm going to grab my foam tape. And part of the reason I'm going to do that is everything's warping a little bit and I want it to stick down to my card base, of course, but I also love that little bit of dimension. But you know, I love dimension anyway, so I'm going to press this up against the edge of my scoreboard, and then I can line up the edge of this cardstock right up against there as well. So it's going to be just a hair less than 2 inches in the middle. So now I'm going to put this little guy here, and I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape at the bottom. And this is just to kind of make it even, and I'm going to have it overhanging the edge of my panel. And there we go. We have 3 quick cards using the new stamp set from Spellbinders. This is the Color Outside the Lines Clear Stamp of the Month. Hope that you are inspired. I hope you enjoyed the video. First off, thank you so much for dropping in. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all the things to let YouTube know that you're enjoying my videos. And here's another video that I know you'll enjoy. You have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too.